I'm here with Erik, the organizer of the Stop Motion Montreal. And I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
How did it go this year compared to the previous years?
I must say that we're really happy because there's tons of people that came to all the presentation. And don't get me wrong, I mean, last year was great and the first year also, since this is the third edition. But I don't know what happened this year. It seems like it really caught on. First of all, with the filmmakers, we received 314 films this year alone. It's the double of last year. Yeah, last year we had 150. So, of course, we're still a small festival, so we've got this place here, we've got a certain amount of time that we can show. So there's 71 films that are officially in the competition. So, from the filmmakers' standpoint, it was really great. We received a lot of them. But also with the audience, it seems that word of mouth went really well this year. People knew what had happened for the second edition. So they went like, okay, well, I think we've got to go to this event. So literally there's more people this year than we had in previous years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And you're a teacher here at Concordia University. And
yeah.
What do you teach here exactly?
Oh, I teach stop motion animation. I'm one-track mind. So
okay.
the thing is that I've been teaching stop motion animation at Concordia since 2001. And it's a while ago, it's in 2007 that I said to myself, okay, I would love to go to an event where I would have, like only stop motion films. Since that's what I teach, I said to myself, okay, well, maybe it would be, like a good thing to do. I spoke with my wife, spoke with a couple of friends, and they said, well, Erik, if you want a weekend long of stop motion, you better organize it. So, got in touch with some of my former friends where I used to work, and they prepared a website and the posters and things like that. And in 2.5 months, we actually put the first edition together. And everybody was telling me that it was completely crazy. He said, Erik, you can't do that in 2.5 months. But because the community is big, I mean, there's a huge community around the world, but it's really easy to access because everybody is so, like passionate about stop motion that as soon as you spread some news that are good, it just goes everywhere. So that's why we were able to get 120 films within 30 days for the first edition. So that's the thing. Because I love it so much, I decided to organize it, and I think that I'm not the only one that loves stop motion, since there's a lot of people that came. So it just proves us that there's a need for it, and the filmmakers write to us and they tell us, it's such a great idea, please keep on going. So there you go.
All right. I actually have just a personal question, since you do stop motion here. We're trying to make this like kind of an educational kind of blog.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always been curious about, how do you do water in stop motion? Because there's so many different ways that I've seen people do it. That what is a really good way to do it? Okay,
so I'm going to tell you, it's like I tell my students in class, there's no good and wrong way of doing it. It's you as a director, what is the aesthetic that you're trying to get in your movie. If you're doing a movie that is cartoony, you're going to be able, like to pull it off, like in a lot of ways. You can use garbage bags, blue in color, like the one for recycling. You can use this, and you can, like just move it so that it becomes like waves, and it works extremely well. You could have the old way of doing it, where it's a kind of cellophane bluish wrapper that's mounted on cylinders, and then you put several cylinders like this, so that when you look in the distance, they kind of lost themselves one from the other, and of course you animate them doing the roll. So that would be more, like for the ocean, where you got those huge waves, that are rolling. So you can do it like that as well. Tonight we saw an amazing film where the water was actually done with rice, and it works. You look at it, and they've got those chunks of ice, that are on the surface, and the characters are struggling, and they're just, like swimming in the rice. So it's really how you look at it and how you want, like this thing to look. And what I always tell my students is that just look at the elements that you've got, like at home surrounding you, and then you're going to find something that's going to make you think of water, and you'll find a clever way, of integrating it inside the movie. So there's no wrong, there's no right. It's just, like your imagination and how you can interpret things.
Mm-hmm. And for any starting stop motion directors or anybody else out there who possibly could be watching? Any departing words of wisdom?
Yeah, departing word is always think small. That's what I tell my students. Whenever they get in the class, I always say, everybody's saying you've got to think big and da-da-da and all of that. And I tell them when they come in the class, you got to think small, you know, like start to be aware of what you have in your surrounding. Sometimes you can find, you know, like miniature objects in different stores. You pick them up and it can make you think, you know, of an idea, and then you can just go with it and come up, you know, with something that is really fun and really cool. So it's just, you know, like go into that mindset, because stop motion animation is all about, you know, like miniatures, the little puppet, the little world, and it's just, you know, like get into it, become, you know, like this actor, and just put all of this emotion into your puppet, and all the rest is going to be golden. So just be true to yourself, animate, you know, like what you really love, and if you like what you're doing, there's good chances that there's tons of people out there that will think exactly the same.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks a lot, Eric.
Thank you so much. Bye.